How far can arrogance take you before reality slams the door shut? Today, one little girl's complete disrespect for Judge Frank Caprio is about to backfire in a way she never imagined. What happens next will shock even the most seasoned courtroom veterans. Little girl disrespects Judge Caprio in court, instantly gets what she deserves. This is the story of Madison Carter, a 19-year-old with money, privilege, and a complete disregard for authority. Born into a life of luxury, she has never been told no, never faced consequences, and certainly never encountered anyone who would dare challenge her. Today, in Judge Caprio's courtroom, that world collides with the one she has spent her life ignoring. And in the span of one morning, she will learn lessons money can't buy, lessons about respect, humility, and the power of instant karma. Madison Carter walks into Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom like she owns the place. 19 years old, dripping in Chanel from head to toe, a $3,000 Prada handbag swinging from her shoulder, and Louis Vuitton heels clicking sharply against the polished marble. Her blonde hair falls perfectly around her shoulders, gold necklace spelling out Daddy's Princess catching the sunlight streaming through the courtroom windows. AirPods in her ears, she scrolls through her phone, paying no attention to the murmurs around her. Courtroom doors swing open and all eyes turn. Whispers ripple like electricity through the room. Is that the senator's daughter? Madison barely glances up, as if the attention of ordinary people is beneath her notice. A crisp piece of paper dangles from her manicured hand, a minor traffic citation she barely remembers receiving. To her, this is an inconvenience, an annoyance interrupting her Instagram scrolling and luxury shopping schedule. Bailiff clears his throat. Court is now in session, he announces, voice firm but respectful. Madison yawns softly, looks around impatiently, then leans against the polished mahogany rail with a casual arrogance that seems to mock the very concept of authority. Judge Caprio's eyes are steady, calm, and knowing. He's seen entitlement before, plenty of it, but there's a subtle intensity in his gaze that makes even the boldest offenders pause for a fraction of a second. Good morning, Miss Carter, Judge Caprio begins, voice carrying across the courtroom with the weight of experience. You're here regarding a minor traffic violation, correct? Madison rolls her eyes, not even bothering to respond immediately. Yeah, whatever, she mutters under her breath. She flicks her hair, taps her phone, and smirks at a few friends in the gallery, confident that her charm and family influence will carry her through this minor inconvenience. The bailiff hands her the official citation. Madison tosses it onto the nearest bench like it's an unwanted accessory. I don't see what the big deal is, she says, loud enough for the court reporter to catch every word. It's just a ticket. Can we get this over with? Judge Caprio leans forward, steepling his fingers, voice calm but firm. Miss Carter, the law does not recognize the value of your name or the brand of your handbag. What matters is respect for the rules and respect for others, regardless of your family or wealth. Madison snorts, barely suppressing a laugh. Rules are for normal people, she says. I'm not normal. You should know that by now. She taps her nails impatiently, her tone dripping with entitlement. The courtroom gasps quietly, the tension thickening. Is this girl seriously testing Judge Caprio's patience before the trial even begins? A hush falls over the room as the first witness steps forward. But Madison doesn't bother to pay attention. She's texting, scrolling, flicking through social media, completely absorbed in her own world. It's a performance of defiance, and she clearly believes she's untouchable. Then comes the first real moment of disrespect. When the bailiff asks her to remove her AirPods and pay attention, Madison shrugs. I hear fine, she says, smirking. I don't need to actually look at you. The words hang in the air like a challenge, a gauntlet thrown directly at Judge Caprio. For a brief moment, everyone in the courtroom holds their breath. Could she really speak to a judge like this? Madison's friends stifle giggles, expecting some kind of spectacle, but no one anticipates what comes next. Judge Caprio's gaze doesn't waver. His calm demeanor is intimidating in its simplicity. He leans back slightly, allows a beat of silence, and then asks the question that will start to unravel her carefully constructed armor. Do you understand the potential consequences of your actions, Miss Carter? Madison smirks wider, tossing her hair back. Consequences? Please, I don't do consequences. She flashes a confident smile at her friends, like she's daring someone to prove her wrong. The courtroom murmurs again, and the tension ratchets up. Everyone senses that this will not be a routine hearing. Something bigger is coming, though no one yet knows how sharply it will hit. And then, the first piece of shocking information is revealed. A witness steps forward, ready to testify, ready to shake Madison's world. But what happened next left the entire courtroom speechless. The courtroom settles into an uneasy silence as the witness takes the stand. Emily Rodriguez, a small business owner whose delivery van was clipped by Addison's BMW last month, steps forward. She clutches a folder tightly, a mixture of nervousness and determination in her eyes. "Your Honor," she begins, voice steady, "I was delivering goods when the defendant ran a red light and nearly caused a serious accident." Madison lets out a soft, dismissive laugh, leaning back in her chair as if the words barely register. "Excuse me, did you say ran a red light? I don't remember. Maybe it's a mistake." She flicks her phone onto the table, scrolling absent-mindedly, her tone dripping with entitlement. Judge Caprio's gaze doesn't leave her. He leans forward slightly. "Miss Carter, this is not a social media post. This is real life, real people, real consequences." Emily opens the folder and carefully removes a series of photographs and a video file from her phone. "Your Honor, I have pictures of the damage to my vehicle and a dashcam recording of the incident." Madison's smirk falters for just a fraction of a second, but she recovers quickly. "Oh, come on. A dashcam? That's ridiculous. I barely touched the bumper," she says, rolling her eyes. Her friends snicker quietly behind her, expecting the judge to side with her, expecting a warning. Not a lesson. The courtroom screen remains off, but Emily continues, describing each image with precise detail. "Here is my van after the incident. You can see the scrape along the passenger side, and this is a still from my dashcam showing the exact moment the BMW ran the red light. You can see the license plate clearly." Judge Caprio nods slowly, letting the weight of her words settle. Then he asks the question that cuts straight to the heart of Madison's arrogance. "Miss Carter, do you deny that this is your vehicle and that this incident occurred?" Madison opens her mouth, searching for a clever excuse, but no words come. Her confidence falters as a cold sense of reality begins to seep in. She's not used to being cornered. She's not used to people standing up to her without fear. The witness continues, her voice steady. "I also have a statement from a neighbor who witnessed the incident. They saw the BMW speed through the intersection and honk aggressively at oncoming traffic." Madison shifts uncomfortably in her seat, the first signs of real tension creeping into her posture. That's not true," she says, her voice slightly higher than usual. "They're lying. It's fake." Judge Caprio's calm, measured tone cuts through the room like steel. "Miss Carter, is it possible that the evidence before you is accurate? That what you see in photographs and hear from witnesses reflects reality?" A hush falls over the courtroom. Every eye is on Madison, expecting a meltdown, or perhaps the usual entitled denial. But the video evidence is damning. There is no way to dispute the facts. The images, the dashcam footage, the witness testimonies, all aligned. Rhetorical question moment: how do you act when the universe finally refuses to cater to your ego? Madison fidgets with her designer bag, tapping her nails against the leather, but nothing can erase the weight of undeniable evidence. Her friends glance at each other, panic starting to creep in, realizing that Madison's charm might not be enough to save her this time. Then, the witness drops the final bombshell. "Additionally, Miss Carter, the city traffic cameras captured the incident from another angle, showing not only the violation but also your attempt to speed away before law enforcement arrived." The courtroom collectively inhales. Even some of Madison's closest friends look stunned. This isn't a minor ticket anymore. This is a record of reckless behavior captured from multiple angles, impossible to refute. Madison's lips part, but no words come. The arrogance she wore like armor for years is cracking, leaving her vulnerable, exposed, and uncertain for the very first time. She glances toward her father, who shifts uncomfortably in the gallery, realizing that money and influence cannot erase these facts. The tension is almost unbearable. Every eye is fixed on Judge Caprio, wondering how he will respond. The air is thick with anticipation, the sense of impending justice hanging heavy over Madison's head. A faint smirk crosses Judge Caprio's lips, subtle but deliberate. He leans back in his chair, letting the silence stretch, letting Madison feel the weight of her actions. It's a lesson in patience, authority, and consequences, all without raising his voice. The witness steps down, leaving Madison frozen, staring at the floor, the reality finally settling in. For the first time, she is forced to confront the truth she has spent her life ignoring. And then, just as the courtroom seems to catch its collective breath, another surprise emerges, one that will escalate this situ even further. But before Madison can respond, another shocking piece of evidence is introduced that could change everything. The courtroom is electric with tension as the clerk announces another witness. This time, it's the victim herself, Mrs. Angela Rodriguez, Emily's mother, who was in the van at the time of the incident. Her voice is calm but carries an unmistakable tremor of fear and frustration. "Your Honor," she begins, "I was in the passenger seat when Miss Carter's BMW ran the red light. My daughter almost lost control. We could have been seriously injured." Madison shifts in her chair, clearly uncomfortable, but tries to mask it with a nervous laugh. "Seriously? That's dramatic. No one got hurt." "I didn't even touch them that hard," she says, her tone dripping with dismissal. She glances at her friends for support, but the uneasy silence in the courtroom tells her everything she needs to know. Her usual charm isn't working. Judge Caprio leans forward slightly, his voice calm but cutting through the tension. "Miss Carter, this is not a question of dramatics. This is a matter of safety, responsibility, and respect for the law." Angela continues, holding back tears. "I know Miss Carter comes from a world of privilege, but money cannot undo the fear we felt. It cannot undo the risk to human life." Rhetorical question moment. How can someone with so much influence fail to grasp the weight of another human's suffering? Madison's bravado falters as the words hit home, but instead of apologizing, she doubles down. "You're exaggerating," she says sharply. "I didn't do anything wrong. You just want to make me look bad because I'm different." Her voice trembles slightly, betraying the first cracks in her carefully crafted armor. Her friends shift in their seats, some whispering, others biting their lips in worry. The courtroom feels like a pressure cooker. Everyone senses that the climax of this confrontation is rapidly approaching. Judge Caprio's eyes remain fixed on Madison, steady, unyielding, letting the truth weigh heavily on her conscience. Then, Emily speaks directly, her words piercing through the tension like a knife. "Miss Carter, you think rules don't apply to you. You think your family name protects you. But no one is above the law, not even you." Madison's face pales slightly, her smirk gone. That's not fair," she whispers. She fumbles with her designer bag, as if trying to anchor herself in the luxury that has always shielded her from reality. Judge Caprio leans forward, voice deliberate, every word resonating across the courtroom. "Fairness isn't a privilege, Miss Carter. It's a standard, one that applies to everyone, regardless of wealth, status, or influence. Do you understand that?" Madison bites her lip, silent. She finally meets the eyes of the victims, the weight of their fear and courage pressing down on her. The reality she has been running from for years is no longer avoidable. The courtroom holds its collective breath as she finally, reluctantly nods. Her voice is barely audible, trembling. I understand." Judge Caprio nods slowly. "Understanding is the first step. Now comes accountability. And then, the moment that will stay etched in everyone's memory arrives." Judge Caprio begins a speech, calm yet commanding, reminding Madison and everyone in the courtroom of respect, humility, and the consequences of one's actions. His words are firm, but they carry a rare warmth, the kind that transforms anger into reflection. "Miss Carter," he says, "the path of privilege can blind us to the reality of others. Money can buy comfort, but it cannot buy empathy, it cannot buy respect, and it certainly cannot shield anyone from the results of their actions. Today is not just about a traffic violation. Today is about learning that every choice has a consequence, and that real strength comes from taking responsibility." Rhetorical question moment. Can a single moment of truth truly change someone who has been untouchable their entire life? Madison's head hangs slightly, the first real humility visible in her posture. Her friends remain frozen, some whispering apologies under their breath. The courtroom seems suspended in time, caught between judgment and revelation. Judge Caprio continues, each word deliberate. "Life has a way of teaching lessons we cannot ignore. Today, you have seen the impact of your actions. Now, you must choose how to respond. Will you learn from this, or will you continue down a path of entitlement and disregard? Madison swallows hard, tears glimmering in her eyes despite herself. The luxury and privilege she once relied upon now feel hollow in the face of accountability. It's a moment of truth, raw and undeniable. Hit that subscribe button. You believe in justice being served, the narrator intones, drawing viewers deeper into the emotional climax. The room falls silent as everyone awaits Madison's final response, knowing that what happens next will define her and the story forever. But just as it seems Madison might finally understand, one last twist of fate threatens to turn everything upside down. The courtroom sits in near silence, every eye on Judge Frank Caprio. Madison Carter's posture is stiff, her hands clenching and unclenching on her Prada handbag, the first real sign of anxiety in her entire life. She's seen judges before, but none have commanded a room like this. None have cut through arrogance, with calm authority so effortlessly. Today, she is about to experience a speech that will shake her to the core. Judge Caprio begins, his voice steady, each word deliberate. Miss Carter, in my years on the bench, I have seen many who think the law does not apply to them. Many who believe that privilege, wealth, or a famous name can shield them from consequences. But the law is not selective. It does not bend for anyone. Not for kings, not for senators, and certainly not for the daughter of privilege. Mediso. N shifts uncomfortably, her gaze dropping to the floor. She knows the lecture is aimed squarely at her, but the weight of each sentence is like a mirror, reflecting a truth she has long avoided. Judge Caprio continues, voice rising just slightly with authority, but never anger. Privilege can create a bubble, a world where actions seem consequence-free. But life has a way of puncturing that bubble. Accidents, mistakes, harm to others. They do not ask for permission. They do not discriminate based on designer labels or social status. Every action carries weight. Every choice has a ripple effect. Rhetorical question moment. How long can someone float in a world of entitlement before reality finally demands accountability? He pauses, letting the courtroom feel the gravity of his words. Then he leans forward, gaze piercing yet measured, locking onto Madison's eyes. You have had a choice today, Miss Carter. You can continue to deny responsibility, to cling to arrogance, to pretend that consequences only happen to other people. Or you can recognize the truth, that your actions affect real lives, that respect and humility are not optional, and that true strength lies in accountability. Madison's lip trembles. Her voice catches as she whispers, barely audible, I didn't realize. Judge Caprio nods, his expression softening just slightly. It is not too late to learn, Miss Carter. It is not too late to understand that respect is earned, not inherited, and that empathy is a gift we must offer freely, not only when it suits us. Today is a moment of choice, a chance to step into the world not as a privileged observer, but as a responsible, caring participant. The courtroom is silent, the weight of his words pressing down on everyone present. Even Madison's friends are frozen, stunned by the sheer impact of the judge's address. The tension is thick, a tangible force pressing against the walls. He continues, now more gently, but with undeniable conviction. Life will continue to test you, Miss Carter. There will be many who will offer shortcuts, many who will encourage arrogance, many who will tell you that rules are optional. But remember this lesson. True character is revealed in moments like these, in facing your mistakes, acknowledging the impact of your actions, and striving to do better. That is how respect is earned, and that is how redemption begins. Madison's eyes glisten with tears, the first genuine emotion she has shown all morning. Her hands unclench, her breath steadies, and a soft, almost inaudible whisper escapes her lips. I understand now. Judge Caprio nods, allowing a small, approving smile. Then learn from it, Miss Carter. Let this moment shape the rest of your life. Let it be the moment you begin to act with integrity, humility, and empathy. Rhetorical question moment. Could one speech, one moment of unwavering authority, truly change the trajectory of a life built on entitlement? The courtroom is quiet, almost reverent. Madison finally meets the eyes of Emily Rodriguez, the young woman whose life she almost endangered. Their gaze holds for a long, tense moment. No words spoken, just acknowledgement, understanding, and the beginnings of respect forming where none existed before. The bailiff shifts papers, the tension slowly dissolving, replaced by a quiet sense of resolution. Madison breathes deeply, the weight of privilege meeting the reality of accountability. She nods subtly, the beginning of transformation evident in her posture, her demeanor, and her gaze. Like this video if you believe in second chance. The narrator intones, pulling the viewer deeper into the emotional climax. And as Madison sits quietly, reflecting on the judge's words, a small miracle begins to unfold, one that will transform despair into redemption and tension into tears of relief. But in the final moments, as everyone waits for the verdict, an unexpected twist delivers the ultimate lesson of instant karma. The courtroom holds its breath as Judge Caprio adjusts his glasses and prepares to deliver the final judgment. Madison Carter sits frozen, hands clasped tightly in her lap, Chanel bag forgotten on the bench beside her. The weight of the morning presses down like a tangible force. She has faced evidence, witnessed testimonies, and the unyielding authority of Judge Caprio himself. And now, the moment of reckoning is here. Miss Carter, Judge Caprio begins, his voice calm but firm. You have shown a willingness to acknowledge your actions, to reflect on the impact they had on others, and to accept responsibility. That is the first step toward redemption. However, accountability requires action, not just words. Madison swallows hard, her heart pounding. She nods, unable to speak. Her designer heels tap nervously against the floor as she braces for the consequences of her recklessness. Judge Caprio continues, because this incident endangered others and demonstrated a disregard for the law, I am imposing a sentence designed not to punish, but to educate. You will complete community service working with a local youth program focused on road safety and responsible driving. You will also cover the repair costs for the damaged vehicle and attend a driving safety course. This is your opportunity to transform privilege into responsibility. Rhetorical question moment. Can a single day, one harsh lesson, truly transform a life built on entitlement? Madison's eyes well up with tears, and she finally speaks, voice trembling. Yes, I understand. I'll do whatever it takes. The sincerity in her tone is undeniable, a stark contrast to the arrogance that dominated the morning. It's a moment of raw human vulnerability, the first real step toward maturity and empathy. Emily Rodriguez, standing nearby with her mother, nods slightly. Madison meets her gaze, her own eyes glistening. I'm sorry, she whispers. It's brief, but it carries the weight of a lifetime of unearned confidence finally replaced by humility. Judge Caprio leans back, expression softening, knowing this is the moment where a life can truly change. Let this experience guide your choices going forward. Respect, humility, and accountability are lessons that will follow you every day, far beyond this courtroom. The gallery remains silent for a beat, then soft murmurs of approval ripple through the room. Madison's friends look on, stunned at the transformation in real time. Her world of entitlement has collided with reality, and she is emerging, not unscathed, but enlightened. Outside the courtroom, news spreads quickly. Social media buzzes with the story of Madison Carter's confrontation with Judge Caprio. Clips of the hearing, dramatized accounts of her initial disrespect, and the judge's powerful speech go viral. People share, comment, and debate. But one thing is clear, the lesson resonates. Karma has a way of teaching lessons money cannot buy. Madison herself begins to take action immediately, enrolling in the community program, volunteering, and even publicly sharing a heartfelt apology online. Her journey from arrogance to accountability inspires many, a viral reminder that no one is above the law or above learning compassion. The narrator's voice returns, warm and dramatic. In one morning, a little girl who thought she was untouchable learned that respect is earned, that every action has consequences, and that redemption is possible when you embrace accountability. Judge Caprio didn't just teach Madison a lesson, he reminded all of us that humility and empathy are the truest measures of strength. Rhetorical question. Moment. Isn't it incredible how one moment of honesty and accountability can change a life forever? Madison steps out of the courtroom, head held a little higher, yet grounded, carrying with her the weight of lessons learned and the promise of growth. Her friends trail behind, silent, absorbing the gravity of what just transpired. Life, she now understands, is measured not by wealth, privilege, or designer labels, but by how you treat others and take responsibility for your actions. Hit that subscribe button and share if you believe in second chances, the narrator intones, bringing the story full circle. Like this video if you believe in instant karma and the power of real change. Don't forget to click the bell so you never miss stories that restore your faith in justice, humanity, and the lessons life demands we learn. And, as the courtroom empties, Madison Carter's transformation leaves a lasting impression. A viral story of entitlement confronted, arrogance humbled, and a young life reshaped by truth, empathy, and the enduring power of instant karma. The world may have watched this courtroom drama unfold, but for Madison, the real journey of redemption, growth, and responsibility is only just beginning.